Last time I saw you play was with Roger Daltrey performing Tommy at the O2. I was privileged to be in that audience.
Yeah, it's great.
I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And
Roger wanted to make the production as close to the original recording as possible, bearing in mind a few things needed. The keys dropping and, you know, for his voice mainly. Also, some things are just impossible to play without detuning and moving them around. But yeah, I mean, it was an intense amount of work putting Tommy together, much more than I think we ever imagined.
What was it like playing in the closing Olympic ceremony?
Oh, that was mind-blowing. That was mind-blowing because of the whole... You really think everything's going to be so well organised, and you get there and you realise it's all hanging on a thread, you know, and everything. Everyone's running around making... You know, a lot of decisions are made quite late in the day, which when you're working on television, you actually think it's all going to be dealt with weeks ahead. And I think that's what shocked me most of all. And also the amount of superstars hanging around and the camaraderie of everyone when you're involved in a project like that, how everyone becomes very friendly and how cool it is really to be part of something like that.
Going back to your acoustic set tonight, I noticed you were playing the Gibson Everly acoustic.
Yeah.
But I've noticed the J200. It seems to be your favourite, or not? Which one do you favour?
The Everly is slowly catching up. The action's a little lower on the Everly, so for certain songs where I like to get a bit more sustain and ring, I use the J200. But you know, they're both fantastic guitars. It's a difficult one. I mean, I don't put one above the other. They both have their own sound. I think the Everly is warmer.
The Everly is a J185, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's an old one. I think it's 64, something like that.
Oh right, because in the 50s the Everly brothers were playing J200s.
Right, yeah.
And that Gibson decided, I don't know why, to produce that model that's slightly smaller.
Yeah, and
So you think that's a warmer sound?
I do think it's a slightly warmer, especially recorded. It's a wonderful warm sound, but it lacks a little bit of brightness that you get off the J200. Right. And you know, something that has always occurred to me is how much lacquer and paint is on a guitar. It really does, for me, an acoustic. It really does affect the tone. You know, and the Everly's done in black like that. They're very dense paintwork, and whereas the J200's blonde. On stage, the J200s are a workhorse. They really are.
I listened to your album, Looking Out, Looking In. I love the acoustic work on She Asked Me. Can you tell me about the instrumentation on that?
Well, there's a little bit of mandolin in there as well, but it's mainly acoustic, isn't it? Acoustic bass and drums, and then some lead guitar. I mean, I wanted to keep that one fairly simple because it was a very inspired song. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I came up with a riff and then the chorus line, and I think it's an inspired lyric as well, with the someone asking you to write them a song that you can't sing to anyone because it's about someone nobody knows about. So it's kind of a cool idea, and I think that, you know, the acoustic vibe of that track really comes from the Irish sort of pull-off thing.
And acoustic-wise, do you have any Martins?
I don't. That's bad, isn't it? That's bad. I don't have any Martins.
Well, I think it's just about personal taste, isn't it?
Yeah. I kind of got a lot of acoustics. I used to have a Taylor acoustic which I gave to one of my kids, and a couple of Collins acoustics. One of them I gave to another of my kids, and it's kind of you know, how many acoustics can you have? As long as you've got a good acoustic to record with.
Simon Townshend, thank you for taking the time out to speak to me, and I'm going to enjoy the set tonight.
Fantastic, cool man.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers.